Hi there, my name is Sheila Beck and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring that little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. And we are living in bonkers and bizarre times here, in fact, well, in the world in general, but also in fandom, particularly in Doctor Who fandom. So season 12 came and went, and I think also the other person that also went was the majority of the audience. Yeah, they lost, 68% of their audience thus far. That's a big number. That's a very big number. And I think most of the fan base is kind of reviled by this. They went from being like, I think you had about 20-25% who were reviled by it. And when like the middle 50% were kind of neutral, I think you lost that middle 50% with the Timeless Children. I think people really genuinely hate it. But yeah, what's happening in response is we're being hit with a wall, a propaganda campaign. It's like just a wall of propaganda in which they're completely ignoring the audience response to their frankly terrible work. They're completely ignoring it and pretending it's not there. It's not happening whatsoever. They're just like, oh no, they're acting, and they really are acting like Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is as popular as David Tennant at his height or Matt Smith. They're really acting that way, and it's crazy because she's not. Objectively, she's not. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is what my decision was. Every time they put out a propaganda piece, which is a wall of propaganda, we get everything every few days now. Say, hey, everything's hunky dory. Oh yeah, Stephen Moffat loves it. Everything's fine. Nick Briggs loves it. Oh, it's all hunky dory. No. You're all lying. You're all lying, and we all know you're lying. You don't poop on your don't poop on the front step and tell me it's chocolate. You are lying. We all know you're lying. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make this video about all these propaganda pieces that I can find, and there's just going to be lots of them because I think that's a function of social media. We have a party line. We have a party line that's being dictated by Chibnall and the production office. I don't know how he got such incredible power, but and if anybody steps out of it, they will face severe consequences. I think much like Crystal Eccleston faced when he didn't want to do a second season, and he became unemployable in the UK. He couldn't get a job here. He had to go to America and do jobs that he legitimately hated, right? So, I really think that's what's going. So we're going to be looking at the Doctor Who, the official Doctor Who magazine's review of season 12. We're going to be looking at most of it. It's a bit long. And we're just going to take the piss out of it because there's so much to take the piss out of. It's written by Paul Kirkley, who normally does the illustrators. And yeah, Paul, I don't mean to take the piss out of you. I'm sorry, you had a job to do. So, find some way of supporting this garbage, or maybe you even like the garbage. I really, really don't know. But I'm sorry, you put yourself out there. They paid you. We got to take the piss out of what you say, and most notably, what you don't say. Yeah, there's a lot about the season that you really don't go into at all, and you gloss over as quickly as humanly possible. Fine. So before we do it, can I ask you guys? Can you hit the subscribe button? It's really, really super important for me. If you can hit the subscribe button, thank you so much. It always amazes me. I look at the stats of my videos. Half the people watching aren't subscribed. Can a bunch of you just hit the subscribe button? It really, really, really unbelievably helps me. So thank you very much. To show you my appreciation, go to the video notes. There's a Doctor Who audio event you can download starring Nicholas Briggs as Doctor. This one's called Geopath, and it was made in the mid-80s by a group called Audio Visuals that went on to become Big Finish. Also, I give stuff away each week on the channel. So stuff I give away this week is something I really, really like. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Apocalypse Now, and this funky special presentation thing that's supposed to look like sealed orders. It's called The Complete Dossier. You got the original, 79 cut and the 2004 Apocalypse Now Redux. It's all on there with a bunch of extras. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel, and then in the comments leave the hashtag Panama Red. Panama Red, of course, being the weed that Charlie Sheen and his crew bought at the USO station during the scene when the Playboy bunnies come and visit and do a show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and check out my review of Apocalypse Now. One of the freaking best movies of all time. Okay, so and go and check the video notes. There's all the information you need to win it. We're going to do the drawing, I guess, on Sunday, whatever that date will be. When I'm on the TARDIS zone, we're going to be talking about Dalek this week. Woohoo! That's something to look forward to. Fine. So, unfortunately, we're not talking about Dalek right now. We're talking about this. Let's turn this on. So we're talking about Doctor Who magazine and their review of season 12, which just blows your freaking mind. Sasha One looking very, very good. I feel really bad for Sasha because, like, he clearly is so excited and happy to do this role, and he's just been lumbered with such crap. Oh god, that face! That face is so stupid. You know, that this scene would have been great if this Doctor had any authority. If the Doctor had ever shown any freaking authority or metal or any core of being anything other than a bumbling idiot, this scene would have been fun. But this expression is everything that's freaking wrong about Doctor Who. You're not fun. You're not funny. Okay, that somebody once told you you're funny. You're really not, Jodie. You're really, really, really not. Fine. So they talk a lot about Spyfall at the beginning, saying it was the biggest one ever. That's what they spend like the most time talking about. And it was. It looked fantastic. And they put a ton of work in it, and it was a real major, major, major course correction from season 11. But still, it had the drag factors that you can't get over of Jodie Whittaker's performance, which is atrocious at any given time. Her performance is always atrocious. So you've got the drag factor of her performance, and the script is just kind of a little bit dull for all the frills and spills and excitement. The script still is a little bit dull because you have characters who are not engaging and two-dimensional. That's just the bottom freaking line. Lenny Henry's villain was completely forgettable. And what actually happened to him at the end when he got stopped from destroying the world? Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? Because you just moved on. Oh, fine. So it talks about Spyfall, and then it talks about really one of the things I found quite glaringly obvious. But then by part 2, the story has already got bored with being a 007 pastiche, and that's the problem with this season right there. One of the many problems with the season right there. Everything is for surprise and shock value, and whenever it wears off, it just gets bored with it and moves on. Like, Lone Simon, forget it, let's move on. Forget it, let's move on. There's a portrait at the end, forget it, move on. Just all this stuff is just so freaking stupid and badly considered and badly written. So yeah, it does. It got bored with being a James Bond pastiche and takes a sudden handbrake turn into a celebrity historical territory instead. Why? Because they were very, very. It's very important for them to show incredible women of science. That was what the second episode was, show incredible women of science. Because the function of this show right now is to make mothers who also have a blue check mark on Twitter provide what they think will be inspiring things for their little girls to inspire them to become scientists. The trouble is, little girls just don't like this show. Again, bottom line, little girls prefer My Little Pony over Doctor Who. They prefer brands that were made for little girls. Now, that's not to say little girls don't. Some little girls don't like Doctor Who. Of course they do, but but far more little girls like Doctor Who when it was good Doctor Who that wasn't preaching to them than they do now. So they're just an utter freaking failure in every way. So that's why they did the celebrity historical charity. So to inspire, blue checkmark Twitter Taliban weirdos can feel good that Doctor Who is inspiring girls to go into STEM subjects, even though it's not, okay? Even though they have no idea what a freaking kid is. And do you know how we know they have no idea what a freaking kid is? Have you seen these videos that they're putting out, that Winners would put out for kids in isolation? No kid wants to see that. Kids would just get irritated and annoyed by it. So what's the answer? So that's the real reason they did the historical celebrity was it Terrigen instead? Why? And their answer that came was because it's Doctor Who. No, because this is the worst Doctor Who in the history of television. Fine, let's move on. As much as they do. Every season needs at least one proper ocean-going dud. Well, don't worry, you have plenty to choose from this season. I think you had, between 9 and 10? I would say ocean-going dud. And this year, that unfortunate distinction falls to Orphan 55. Well, no worries, Paul Kirkley, because yes, we all know this was a objectionably terrible story in every way, especially the script, and it coming off the back of another objectively terrible story by the same writer. So you know what? This is the Doctor Who they want. They want to do bad Doctor Who that preaches to you with people with blue hair, with green hair for no apparent reason. Okay, it's a story that for me was dead on arrival as soon as I heard the word Resort Planet. You know, funnily enough, one of the things that Chibnall really attacked Pippa Jane Baker for when it was on open air, one thing they really attacked him is when they had a space cruise liner, which is essentially the same thing as a Resort Planet. And he said his condescending, sneering little line, don't you think that's a bit boring? Don't you think that's just been done a lot of times before? Don't you think? Yes. Well, you don't think that anymore. Now you're on to what you. This is what, your 13th episode? Your 13th episode, and you're out of ideas. You're so out of ideas already that you're recycling ideas that you got up on national TV and said to the faces of the bloody writers who wrote it, don't you think that's a bit boring? So, Chibs, don't you think that's a bit boring? And you know what? Why can't you show a little bit of the same backbone that Pippa Jane Baker and John Nathan Turner show? Why don't you come on one of our channels? If you come on my channel, I will be polite. But I just got to ask you, like, we're going to go over all your bad decisions and go, what were you thinking? Like, wouldn't that be great? Fine. So, surely the biggest eye roll in sci-fi in the sci-fi playbook. Yes, but still not used up enough for Christian to reject. Tonally, it's all over the map. Yes, it is. Benny! Oh, God, everything about it was so freaking awful! But it really didn't get super awful until the end when they had the Greta Thunberg in space finger-wagging lecturing. And usually for modern Doctor Who, it also looks under-resourced in key departments. I think it all does, really. I think the cinematography here has been very good. But yeah, you can tell they're scrabbling a little bit. By contrast, Nikolai Tesla's Night of Terror, Night of utter boredom. It was such a boring episode in its own modest, unshowy way. There, it reads boring. A perfectly lovely, exceedingly handsome slice of Doctor Who. No, it's not. No, it's not! It's no. Full of scientific curiosity and delightful historical notions about messages from Mars beamed to the Gilded Age of New York. Banish all memories of those shonky Daleks in Manhattan. What? Daleks in Manhattan was such an objectively better story than this. Okay, here's the difference with Daleks in Manhattan and this. Daleks in Manhattan was entertaining. Yeah, it was fun. It was a story that I would want to watch again. It's a story that I bought twice. I bought the DVD and I bought the Blu-ray. We like Daleks in Manhattan. So what? You're saying this story is somehow better? Are you out your freaking mind? Yes, no, you are out your freaking mind. This was the one with what's the name? The girl from Sarah Jane Adventures, dressed up as a bad cosplay Scorpion, and it was like bad children's TV. It was like Into the Labyrinth. Do you remember that? Yeah, it was just a stupid performance. Oh my God! Okay. Hey, keep it together, Steve. Giant Scorpions on Long Island is where it's at. No, it's not. Oh, God. Already cemented as a modern classic. What? Fugitive of the Judo. There's not a modern classic! What the hell? No! It's again, the scripting equivalent of jumping out of a closet and going, surprise! Doesn't make it a classic. It makes it that you're out of ideas and you're just looking to for shock value. Could you freaking losers? So really, it was shaping up to be a doozy before that Whiplash. How, what, who revelation started piling up. No, it wasn't. it was slightly more like a Doctor Who episode than what I've seen before. Yeah, it was slightly more like it, but wasn't shaping up to be a great episode until Revelation started piling up. Fine, like some charms, the Jejune naturally lend themselves to light comedy, and having them rampaging across the gentle cloisters of Gloucester in like rhinos in a china shop is an absolute hoot. Yes, that actually was an absolute hoot. That was something that actually worked. So yeah, essentially just reusing ideas that other people have used before. Which again, this season Doctor Who just came off, really starting at this moment, came off like a bad version of Doctor Who karaoke, where people were where you're redoing things that had been done before badly, unprofessionally. Then it goes and pulls the rug from under us with four little words that broke the internet. Hello, I'm the Doctor. Yeah, and they never explained all the bloody story, all the problems there, because they don't care. Because if you're going to try and convince me there was colorblind casting in casting Jo Martin as a Doctor, a role that she has open disdain for, if you're going to tell me there was colorblind casting there, I'm going to say you're lying. You're fibbing. Of course there wasn't. Of course she was written to be a black woman. Okay, that's the only thing Chris Chibnall actually can think about. It's the only way he defines his characters, by their skin colour, their gender, and their sexual orientation. That's the only thing it's got. He has no idea about how to write a character. And I have to tell you, Jo Martin, her performance was way better than Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, she's a much better Doctor than Jodie Whittaker. That's not really saying much, It's Jodie Whittaker is freaking awful as a Doctor, while Jo Martin is I would say reasonably less terrible. I think her costume really didn't work. The costume didn't match the way she was performing the character, which was very naturalistic. Very again, the housing estate Doctor is how she's unkindly referred to, and I can kind of understand that. Okay, it's a winning charismatic performance from Jo Martin as the flinchier, more cynical incarnation of the Time Lord. Gorgeous TARDIS, though. Yeah, thank God they made it for an adventure in time and space. Can we keep it? Yes, we will much like the TARDIS is way better than the terrible set Whittaker uses. Amidst all this excitement, you have to feel slightly sorry for John Barrowman, who clearly was just begging, please, John, I just need some ratings. John, please, one scene, we'll film everything in one scene. We'll get you done one afternoon. You dye your hair and you'll go back to come, John, please. Whose return as Saucy Jack Harkness was just done to advertise it so you can get more people watching it and try and staunch the hemorrhaging viewers, which failed, by the way, again, utterly failed to do. The equivalent of jumping out of a cake into an empty room. Yes, it's true. Even so, it was good to see the old rascal, and as Ryan said, he's cheesy, but he's good cheesy. Yeah, okay, fine. Ryan had a line. Aren't we impressed? Is it damning with faint praise to describe Praxis as a solid mid-table performer? The Spurs or Everton or season 12? No, because it's a lie. The Praxis was the one that they should have had the Sea Devils in, but clearly ran out of money, and so we all we got was another lecture about microplastics in water. Oh, thank you, Dr. Jodie, for lecturing us again, because we don't know what to do without you. Thank you, Mummy Doctor. Oh, thank you so much. It's another pan-globing tale that cracks on at a fair solid leak. Yeah, they have to move quickly, so they try and disguise the massive plot holes in it, and it's really funny. This was the one where they had to disguise how Jodie Whittaker cannot run. They had to running on they worked out. Oh, wait a minute! If we put a shaky cam on her, she doesn't look so awful. That was the solution. So rather than have her actually put some work into learning how to run properly, no, we'll just do it with the shaky cam. But it also suffers from what's perhaps the post-2005 Doctor Who's greatest structural weakness, the ramped-up, breathless third act. No, the reason you have a ramped-up, breathless third act is because Jodie Whittaker, the only way she knows how to sell the performance, which she just doesn't believe in, is to do a ramped-up, breathless performance. That's the only way she knows how to do it. Because the only Doctor she's seen, I think, is David Tennant, and she's seen the bits that he would do that in. So she's copying him, much like the rest of the season. Everything is copied from somewhere else. Breathless topped off with the rather glib magic bullet solution. I don't even remember solution because just none of this engaged me in any way, shape, or form. In this case, salvation came from a magic planet-sized shot of antiviral drugs. What we wouldn't give for that, one of those right now. That's actually a fair point. Like Praxis, Can You Hear Me is an episode that's specifically about something. Yes, I know. Yeah, that's the problem with this Doctor Who. Every week is tonight on a very special episode of Doctor Who. Yeah, every freaking week it is. Where we're up to some practice, and practice was perhaps one of the no, can you hear me? It was perhaps one of the worst episodes, one of the most destructive episodes of all time. Is an episode very specifically about something, namely the world's spiraling mental health crisis. You're not helping me out with the mental health. Let me tell you, you're not helping me out on my mental health. In fact, you are a detriment to it, and I think millions of people out there. And also, you're a detriment to the mental health of the fans of this, says, who are detached from reality completely. You know, when they say things like, "Oh, the ratings are better than on Peter Capaldi." No, they're not. They're not. This season, this era of Doctor Who has been thoroughly rejected by the general audience and the fan audience together. Thoroughly rejected. And anything else, anything not mentioning that is just propaganda, is just spin, which is why we're freaking here. You know, Doctor Who magazine. I understand you have to be complimentary to Doctor Who to get access to it. But yeah, I would also say I just think for realism, you know, you should have at least a mention of the other side of the equation, which is the majority of freaking fandom. You know, they should have a mention on the other side of the equation. You know, that would be smart. But no, this is a Stalin-esque rewriting of reality. This season was great. Everybody loved it. Really. So it's pretty hard to see. This bottom line is, with all this propaganda going on to like fall through and more of this nonsense, at the end of the day, they're going to have to show it. They're going to have to show it. And that's just going to be more embarrassing than anything else. Fine. As such, it takes an almost existential approach into storytelling, conjuring a darkly lyrical atmosphere of smoke and mirrors, dreams and nightmares. It's properly scary too. Nah, not really. The cadaverous Selin Ingelder literally appearing at the end of your bed with his flying fingers and basilisk. Yeah, the flying fingers, that didn't work. Again, all of this strikes me as like children's television science fiction. The fingers flying out was children's television science, flying into people's ears. It was just stupid. It was just like, oh God, how would you have nobody there that will tell you this is just stupid? It's beyond me. Now, he was a good actor in Golda. He made him for a good villain, but not from the bloody script. And certainly not with the idiotic fingers in the ears. Oh, I hated it. That said, it's another tale that suffers from an overly pat ending. That's not all it suffers from. It suffers from being in the Chibnall era, in which two godlike beings are lit. Oh God, that's the one where they did the animation bit in the middle for no apparent reason because they couldn't work out how to do the storytelling. Two godlike beings put back in the box like Cosmic Andy-Panding and Loopy Loop. What? You're not going to mention like one of the most important things that happened. You're not going to mention that Graham asked for some support from the Doctor, and the Doctor couldn't do. I feel a bit socially awkward. You're not going to mention that. No, really. Funny that you're missing that out. Maybe you're just like unbelievably ashamed of it. Why can't you stand by it? You know, that's the thing. If shills have to shill, why don't they mention the things that are just freaking awful and stand by it? Stand by the socially awkward nonsense. Go on. No, you're not going to. All you can do is not mention it. Fine. And we're on to another boring story. The Haunting of Villa Diodati is the rarest of jewels, a near perfect Doctor Who story. You are insane! You have lost your mind. A near perfect Doctor Who story. What, you're going to compare this to Pyramids of Mars? Are you out of your freaking mind? It was boring. It was boring. Yeah, that's not near perfect to make it. Yeah, to have a story with a time jumping Cyberman that you never seen before, and you had Mary Shelley and they're riding Fat Tracker, and you still managed to make it boring. You know, the big shock scare of the episode was the Doctor knocking at the door and opening the door, and for some reason everybody on both sides went ah! And then they used that everybody used that for the thumbnail because it looked truly pathetic, and truly pathetic was a fair description of season 12. Any review of season 12 that doesn't have the words truly pathetic, I think is missing out a thing or two. A proper doorknob rattling haunted house tale to curdle the blood and quicken the beatings of the heart. Yeah, that's it. You've lost it. You are detached from reality at this point. Realized by director Emma Sullivan. Yes, we've got to have female directors. What happened to Rachel Talalay. She was freaking awesome. Now they just go, oh, wait a minute, do you identify as a female? Yes. Oh, therefore you can write and direct Doctor Who. In a palette of blue shadows and guttering candlelight. Yeah, but she was able to shoot it. Okay, they were shot and it looked professional. It's also a reminder that from Conan Doyle to Christie, Doctor Who has long worn its bookish streak proudly. God, it was all those boring bits of James Shelley and of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. A brave gambit when you're seeking to entertain 12-year-olds, not a demographic known for romantic poet dancing a quadrille. Yeah, but I can see this being appealing to little girls because it was boring. Yeah, I can say, but again, little girls aren't going to watch it because they don't like Doctor Who. They like My Little Frickin' Pony, and I know you don't like these gender stereotypes, but if you had children, you'll know these gender stereotypes come preloaded into children. Ugh. And it's proof that the show has always aspired to something higher than just a ratings-chasing entertainment. Well, that's good, because this is where they started. The ratings really became the worst ever. Yeah, I'm glad they're not trying to be rating-chasing entertainment, because you failed in that totally. Also, you failed in it being entertainment. Not that it all flops and frilly brows, mind you. There's Ashdad, the lone sideman, who we never find out what the hell was. Viscerally terrifying performance by Patrick O'Kane. Again, if we had some kind of explanation about what this character was and what they were doing, this might have worked. But no, we had no explanation because Chibnall is a freaking useless hack. As a creature who's neither fish nor fowl, man nor machine, naturally. Mary Wollstonecraft instinctively sees the humanity within the modern Prometheus, inspiring Gothic literature's most tragic monster in the process. Yeah, no, go and listen to Big Finish's was it the Silver Turk, which is the story they ripped off for this one. But it's it's chilling the way he undercuts her compassion, explaining how he slit the throat. So yeah, that was a bit of a tonal jarring moment. Oh my god, how much more of this is there? Oh, I don't know. Can I do more of this? Yeah, I think we just got to keep going. Of his own children. Talk about mad, bad, and dangerous. No, if anything, it signals the paradigm shift between season 12 and its predecessor. Yeah, this one tried to be Doctor Who, where that one didn't. Its predecessor, through the way Chris Chibnall approaches his endgame and essential assignment, Time as Children. You mean ripping off Stephen Moffat from 2017? In 2018, his finale was relatively understated. This time, all stops were pulled out for an epic operatic showdown, which was the cyber invasion of Gallifrey. Is really just a shiny silver distraction. Yeah, that's a shame because actually that could have been quite good. You could argue, I suppose, that the entire season pivots around the least surprising twist in TV history. Who is the tiniest child? Well, it's the Doctor. Duh. Yeah, we all knew that. The Ghost Monster. Those scraps of talking lino basically said as much way back in the Ghost. Well, yes, I was there. We saw it. But the devil is in the details. Yeah, the devil is certainly in these bloody details. In what this development tells us, and what it doesn't. Our hero's past that makes such a bold, audacious storytelling. Yeah, bold, audacious storytelling? Not quite, no. Like shit storytelling that's injected shit into the entirety of Doctor Who. But no, don't complain, because that makes you a racist. Oh dear, don't want to be a racist. Some, of course, are of the opinion that Doctor Who should never look back and only ever keep marching relentlessly forward, eyes front. But as a wise man, the wisest actually said, it was Terence Dix, once said, a man is the sum of his memories, a Time Lord even more so. But she doesn't have any of these memories! And the beauty of this deep dive into the serious mythology is that it raises more questions than answers. Yes, of course it raises more questions, because you can't answer them, because they don't make sense. It's called a plot hole. Yes, it adds a few key lines to the Doctor's Wikipedia bar. No, it completely dilutes the entirety of the 57-year history of Doctor Who. It's there to wash away 12 white men. Let's be clear. That's why it's for. Don't pretend it's for anything else. We generally don't know who the Doctor is, what species she is. Yeah, I don't know what species this bloody Doctor is. For me, it feels like a thrilling assertion of the show's central mystery. Doctor Who. No, they told you who Doctor Who was. They told it who it was, and then they said, "But we can't really work it out, so we don't really know." And then we had okay, plot hole after plot hole after plot hole. It doesn't really add up. Of course it doesn't really add up. Don't you think that's important? Don't you think that's really kind of an important thing for a story to either be entertaining or to make sense? Don't you think though either of those things are important for a story? No. But you know why? Because you had the United Colours of Benetton Doctor's children as they were being murdered over and over and over again for some reason, and they just ignored that because it was done by an incredible woman of science. So it gets a pass. It doesn't I still don't buy the revelation will cause the Master to raise Gallifrey to the ground, or how he would do that. I don't understand why it leaves the Doctor so utterly broken. Because again, they don't care. That's just what they wanted to happen. They wanted to try and add some depth to this Doctor. That's what's going on. Even before it's intimated she might have done some terrible things for the division. The same Black Ops outfit that's violently refusing to let Doctor Ruth collect her P-45. It's and again this whole prehistory of Gallifrey, the division. Just such crap. It's Section 31. It's what hacks do. It's what pointless hacks do when they have to write a story. It's also striking how passive Doctor is. How she uses the modest term. The modest term. She lacks agency. Yeah, this Doctor does lack a modern term. Not modest term. She lacks agency. Yes, this Doctor has always lacked agency because she's shit. Even to the extent of letting somebody else take the bullet for her. Yes! Really? Yes! How'd you let that one go? How'd you let her just, be such a coward? Though it's nothing compared to the one where David Tennant spent the whole finale in a budgie cage. Yeah, no, it is, because at the end of the day, he didn't let anybody die for him. One other minor difference is that was popular and this wasn't. Plus, let's be honest, Christian might as well just call the death particle the death MacGuffin and be done. Yes, go again, because he's a terrible writer. He's very bad at his job. The main title bout, the electrically charged confrontation between the Doctor and the Master, is heady stuff. No, Session 1 was good, playing next to essentially an ironing board in a rainbow jumper. That's what they should. Who should be the next jumper? It should be Bungle from Playhouse. Yes, they'll be able to keep up the rainbow motif, and you'll really be able to go into that trans territory. Fine. Having opened the series with a love letter to James Bond, Series 12 ends by channeling another mega franchise. What the Stephen Moffat's finale for Capaldi? Another mega franchise in which a Massian forces, forces of light and dark, Massian forces of light and dark, which share complicated history, and some DNA face off against each other in the ruins of an empire. Which, while everyone else, they said you just wanted the moments, but you didn't want to think about how to get there. While everybody else runs around blowing things up, like Star Wars, yes, exactly like Star Wars, that has fallen off a bloody cliff and has alienated its audience. It has a wise bearded old hermit who then kills herself for the Doctor. And she goes, yeah, okay then. Who at the end of the day makes a heroic sacrifice because the Doctor's a bit socially awkward, sacrificing herself. She's a socially awkward person, so she can't sacrifice herself. And did you punch the air in triumph when our hero finally recovered her mojo to the accompaniment of the actual Doctor Who theme? No, I didn't punch the air when that happened. No. That's not something that happened. I did not punch the air. I went, oh, that's shit. Oh, of course they used the Brain of Morbius, the clip. Yeah, obviously. And my major thought was, how, if she doesn't have the access to these other memories of a gazillion other lives, which I don't believe happened, she doesn't have access to the memories, so she just used her own personal memories of her 12 lives to overload the Matrix. The Matrix, the repository of all Time Lord lives. Yeah, so there's millions and millions of Time Lords in there with millions and millions of lives worth of memories. But her 12 lives was enough to blow up the Matrix because of reasons. Because nothing matters. Because Chibnall's a frickin' idiot who doesn't know how to write. So yes, that's what I thought. What am I saying? Of course you did. No, I didn't, Kirkley. For all that she's been through the mill this series. Not as much as I have, having to watch this dreck. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor remains as funny, fizzing Roman candle of a Time Lord, brewing over with what John Pertwee liked to call moments of charm, but none actual whatsoever. And she's the most charmless Doctor Who I've ever seen. Forever's witnessed her wonderfully coy reading of Kisses, quite French that. Oh, yeah, everything she does is awful. I'm sorry, everything she does is awful. It's like, was that character from Bad Santa, the little guy who the Billy Bob Thornton's Bad Santa. It's like, everything about you is ugly. So yeah, that's how I feel about her. One day a generation will look back on their Doctor, this rainbow stripe. No, that's never going to happen. There's no one's ever going to look back fondly at this Doctor. It's never, ever going to happen, because the people who like it because of agenda. They don't like it because it's good, and they're going to find something else to glob onto about their agenda. That's the only reason they'll look at it. They have no actual care for Doctor Who, much like the people making it. Doctor, brain clicking a million miles an hour. No, her brain is just stupid. She's the stupidest Doctor that we've ever had. You know, if there's ever a multi-Doctor special, I think 2 or 3 of them are going to be tasked with making a fake mission for her to go on, just to keep her out the way. Yeah, that's probably what Sylvester McCoy's Doctor's probably going to have to do. Like, find something for Jodie Whittaker's Doctor to do, so she doesn't like bumble in and destroy everything, because she's freaking useless. Take the Doctor Ruth Doctor instead. And Phil moved to agree with Lord Bryan. She was the universe. No, she wasn't. She certainly sees herself as. For all that though, the mood lighting aboard the TARDIS is a shade chillier this time round, with Spyfall sowing the seeds of the Doctor as a more remote, unknowable figure. No, it didn't do that at all. All it did was give Whittaker some time to go, to be a bit slightly more cagey for a second. Unknowable figure to the fan, one burdened by the knowledge that life is often a zero-sum game, and she's the one counting the bodies. No, there is no depth to this Doctor in that way in any way. Her fellow travelers is perhaps still not quite enough airtime to go around. Oh my God, this is 2 years in! 2 years in, and I still don't know a freaking thing about Yaz. Yeah, I don't know what makes her laugh. I don't know anything about Yaz. I don't know anything about character. I don't know anything about Ryan. There's not enough airtime. You've had 2 years of major characters, and you can't bloody pull it together yet. And as such, their interior lives are sketched rather lightly. You think. But it's nice to see Mandip Gill getting a bigger bite of the cherry. The only reason that happened, because one of the overwhelming criticisms you got from season 11 was, what's the point of Mandip Gill? Her point of Mandip Gill is to have a skin colour and a gender. That's it. That's it. That was the point of her, because she wasn't a character. She was just a skin colour and a gender. That's all she was. Not a gender. A gender. Getting bigger by the cherry with a poignant, its fleeting glimpse into Yaz's own mental health struggles. Please, yeah. Again, she was a Muslim girl in Lancaster, in the north, who was bullied for being Muslim. Are you out your freaking mind? Have you ever been to the north? I know lots of planets over north. If you ever go north, it's like mostly Muslim now, most like Bradford. You know, I don't believe anybody's being bullied for being Muslim there, for having Muslim background ethnicity. You know, whether the overwhelming majority, I don't think that's going down in Bradford. Mental health struggle. Ryan, by contrast, has eased into the role of comic foil, with Tosin Cole clearly enjoying cutting loose and channeling his inner goofball. No, they write his. Okay. This is the reason that the actors know what to do in an episode, because they write it down for them in a script, and then he says the lines that they write. That's how it works. They don't make it up for themselves. This is what he's told to do. As for Bradley Walters Graham, I just adore his uncompromised everyman approach, which certainly got wound down in season 12 because he was overshadowing everybody in season 11. Wandering about the universe, calling people cockle, and constantly trying to scare up a sandwich or looking for toilet paper. I don't need to expect anything more from him than that, really. Well, he's going after one more episode. You served your time. You're allowed to leave. This year has also been a broadening of the series' political scope. You think? No, it hasn't. It's been a narrowing down of the series' political scope. But let's see what Idiocy is going to say. Whereas season 11 majored in intersection of history and identity, these stories plug into such hot-button issues as surveillance, capitalism, fake news, and refugee crisis. Most explicitly, plastic pollution and climate emergency. Yes, it was a dour, boring lecture by idiots. Yes, we're saying the same thing, I think. It was a dour, boring lecture by idiots, which is why the entire audience ran away. Just to remind you that they had, about 600,000 people who would rather do anything else than watch Doctor Who. You had Country File on, which I don't understand how people watch it. I don't understand how there's an hour show about walking around in the countryside, in the wet, miserable countryside of England. But there is. But that show, which I don't understand, that has more of an audience, more higher ratings than Doctor Who. Because as soon as Country File finished, people would run and do literally anything else. They shed 600,000 viewers, which meant that, let's say, there's people sitting around and saying, we could either sit and watch Doctor Who, or I can give you a violent rectal probe using rusty material from an AIDS ward. So, the guy will go, whoa, so the violent rectal probe, that sounds pretty darn bad. From a rusty equipment, that sounds like something I wouldn't want to happen at all. That sounds like it's going to really injure me. With an AIDS ward, maybe I'll get AIDS from it. So all this seems really bad. But on the other side is Doctor Who. So yeah, anything other than Doctor Who. And then they came back for Call the Midwife, which is what I'm convinced is what the whole Brendan sections were in Ascension of Sideman. It was to fool people into thinking they're watching Call the Midwife, so maybe they'll stick around, and they won't hemorrhage any more viewers. Another thing that they failed at. Fine. The refugee crisis. More explicitly, plastic pollution and the climate emergency. The latter tapping into the momentum of Greta Thunberg, Blue Peter. Oh God, yes, exactly. If you're using an abused child with psychological complaints that include selective muteness, as your role model for a fun and engaging science fiction show, maybe you might lose on popularity. That might just happen. And lo and behold, it did. Fills exactly the train of any self-respecting contemporary sci-fi. No, yes. In today's television landscape, yes, it definitely feels like any sci-fi drama because they're all shit in the same way. That's the trouble. We're all so done in with this relentless shit that you keep serving us. To be operating in, even if even if the Doctor's He-Man style of "to the best of humanity" homily, oh God, at the end of Wolfen's Life, it does feel like an unwelcome reprise of season 11's on the nose speechifying. That's what she did every time she opened her freaking mouth. On the whole, this has been a much more dialed down. Though you do rather feel for Jodie Whittaker having to deliver the line as clanging as, of course, Islamic physicians were known for the enlightened way they treated people with mental health problems. Yes, of course. I didn't even notice that in the sea of suck that was season 12. Especially as she's talking to herself at the time, yes. You know why she's talking to herself? Because nobody else is freaking watching, because they're bored out of their mind of this nonsense. Arguably, the show has never looked better with more impressive intake of new direction. No, I'm sorry. We've been doing them watch alongs. It doesn't look that good. I'm sorry. Building on season 11 widescreen cinematic aesthetic. As Ross T. Davis was often at pains to stress, Doctor Who is as much about those pictures as words. Well, that's good because the words were freaking awful. And these episodes are rich and with rich indelible images from the trippy, electrified forest of the Kasavan realm to the Doctor on top of a lighthouse in the golden glow of a setting sun. And the animated segment, Can You Hear Me? All of this was awful. All of this was terrible. It's a beautiful little tableau that made stars and constellations to remind us that even after 57 years, this show is capable of finding new and unexpected ways to tell stories. Yes, they said, you know what we're going to do? We know what we're going to do. We're gonna make the worst, most boring stories possible. Really? Well, that's a bit of a new and unexpected way to tell a story. Well, are we going to be like preaching and dull? Yes, we are. Well, that's very new and unexpected. So you're saying your new and unexpected way of storytelling is a way of making sure nobody freaking watches this. Yes, that's their new and unexpected way of storytelling, because they're insane. And then there was a reveal of a certain blue box buried in the earth by the beach, for my money, among the most instantly iconic moments of the long history. Yes, if we had any explanation. Why was it buried? Like, why was it buried? How do they teleport inside it? Why is it a police box shape? If she's before Hartnell, why is it a police box shape? Massive plot holes throughout the entire history. History. There we go. History. There are some, it should be noted, who continue to insist that if you can't rewrite the history of Doctor Who not one line. That's not true. You can rewrite it, but if you rewrite it with pure shit, that's what you're gonna get. Pure shit. The making the Doctor Who the mother lode of the mother lode, whatever that means, of Time Lords, as opposed to a curious jackdaw wandering time and space, is a betrayal of the show's founding fathers. Well, not so much. Not so. Again, it's the making it shit with massive plot holes is the real problem. So yeah, I think you're dancing around there. Why was there that portal at the end of the universe to Gallifrey? Why was that set up? What again? Did the Doctor cause the extinction of the human race at the hands of the Cybermen? Looks like it to me. Why is she such an idiot? That's again. Dr. Ruth asked the same bloody question. Why is she such a freaking idiot? Successive writers have been making things up on the Who for decades, dropping a Rassilon here, a Valley up there, and cheerfully parachuting Gemma Coleman into a prologue of an unearthly child for kick. Yes, and again, that's something else that blows up the whole Timeless Children thing. Jenna Coleman, she saw the entirety of the Doctor's timeline. How did she not say how? But apparently, this was only a tiny segment. This white male segment is only a tiny segment of her timeline. So yeah, what happened there? Yeah, this is just terrible, terrible writing. Done for the sake of agenda. Done for the sake of to get a round of applause from the blue checkmark Twitter Taliban. Just to go, oh, how brave, how stunning. That's all this is about. It's a chibnall to make himself feel good about himself. And my question is, why does he feel so crappy about himself? Maybe just go out and do some good with your life. Maybe just go to a soup kitchen and try and not be a shitty, self-absorbed person, and you won't need to destroy beloved science fiction franchises to make yourself feel good about yourself. There's a lot of ways you can actually do good in the world. Does any of this diminish the enigmatic space wizard introduced to us by Waris Hussein and co all those years ago? Not to it changed it massively. Not to my mind, any more than retooling James Bond as a damaged, tortured soul takes away from the smooth, self-satisfied playboy of Doctor No. Again, you along with everybody else are saying, listen, I know it's crap, but this is all going to be retconned away. As soon as we get a new production team in, this is not forever. I know you're all saying the same thing. As Ryan Sinclair and Graham O'Brien, perhaps anticipating the oncoming Twitter storm, so succinctly put it, she's a Doctor. Whoever she is in the past or is in the future, we know who she is right now. Yeah, an idiot, a condescending idiot. That's who she is right now. The best person we know. The best way you know is a condescending idiot? I don't think so. And I thought, wait, wasn't Yaz the best person you know? Isn't she just fantastic? And they made the Morbius Doctors canon. No, they didn't! Don't tell me you didn't honk with pleasure at the sheer mad brilliance of that. No, I didn't, because I won't believe you. Okay, Paul, I really want you. Look at me. Come, look at me. Look at me in the eye. Look at me in the eye. I want you to look closely. I look closely and understand. It was shit. It was utter shit, and I hated it. I hated it. Do you believe me now? Do you believe me how much I hated it? It was shit. It was condescending. It was annoying. It wasn't Doctor Who in any way, shape, or form. and I hated it. Do you believe me now? Maybe you don't believe me. Maybe go out to your window and listen to the throng of the rest of the freaking universe who all hated this brainless shit. My name is Phila Beckett, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, subscribe, and oh my god, that's a long video. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop, and have yourself a fantastic day.